So in last class, we discussed about operational amplifier, block diagram of operational amplifier, followed by the symbol of operational amplifier and the pin configuration of operational amplifier. So today we will discuss with one of the important parameter that is CMRR, and CMRR is nothing but common mode rejection ratio. So once again I will repeat, CMRR stands for common mode rejection ratio, and it can be defined as the ratio between the differential mode voltage gain indicated by AD and the common mode voltage gain indicated by AC. That means we can define CMRR as the ratio between differential mode voltage gain represented by AD and the common mode voltage gain represented by AC. Okay. So now the thing, what do you mean by differential mode and what do you mean by common mode? Okay. So as you know, for this operational amplifier we have two inputs. Okay, one is the non-inverting input, another one is the inverting input. Okay, so if we are applying the two different inputs, that means for example if we are applying V1, so here we can see if we are applying V1 to the non-inverting input and V2 to the inverting input, then such type of gain and we will get a output, and such type of gain is called differential mode voltage gain. Okay, so now coming to the common mode voltage gain. So once again I will repeat, differential mode voltage gain means, so as you know, in operational amplifier we have two inputs, non-inverting input and inverting input. So to the non-inverting input if we are applying one signal, and to the inverting input again if we are applying other type of signal, then what the output we will get, that is nothing but differential mode voltage gain represented by ED. Now coming to the term common mode voltage gain. So common mode means, so here what the term common, so as we know, common refers for it should be same to two things. Okay, so in an operational amplifier as we know we have two inputs, so as per the term common, so the same kind of signal has to be applied to both the inputs, that is to the non-inverting input and to the inverting input. Such a mode is called common mode. You can see in this circuit that to the non-inverting terminal and to the inverting terminal, so both the terminals are shorted and applied with a single signal or single source of signal, that is the common mode. Voltage is applied in between both the inputs, so for that reason it is called the common mode. So now what the output we will get with respect to this type of arrangement, that is called common mode voltage gain represented by AC. Okay, once again I will repeat, differential mode voltage gain is nothing but, here we are applying two different signals to the two inputs, that is non-inverting and inverting. What the output we will get in terms of gain, that is nothing but the differential mode voltage gain. As per the term common mode voltage gain, here what we have to do, we have to give same voltage or same signal to both the inputs, that is to the non-inverting and to the inverting. Right, from this circuit it is clear that we have shorted the non-inverting terminal and the inverting terminal, and both we have applied a common voltage, and what the output we will get, that the voltage after converting into gain we will call it as a common mode voltage gain represented by AC. Now here again we have the two terms, rejection and ratio. Okay, so ratio means it should be a fraction. That means here as per the definition already it has been mentioned that it is the ratio between AD and AC. So we can represent, or the formula for CMRR, that is common mode rejection ratio, is equal to AD by AC, where AD is differential mode voltage gain and AC is common mode voltage gain. Okay. Now now to understand things, we should know what is this AD and AC and why its ratio important in selecting op amp. Okay, so now we are clear that what is AC, what is AD. Now the thing, why these two are important. Okay, so as we know, op amp has two input pins. The difference in the voltage between these two pins is called differential mode voltage gain, as I have mentioned now. And with respect to that, common voltage between these two pins is called common mode voltage gain, that is AC. Now coming to the term, why this differential mode and common mode are important. Okay, the output of an op amp will always be the sum of differential mode voltage gain and common mode voltage gain. That means VO. Okay, VO is equal to AD plus AC. Understood? So the output what we will get, this output will be the sum of differential mode voltage gain and common mode voltage gain. So just concentrate on this. What I told, if we are applying two different signals to two inputs, for non-inverting other kind of signal, and for the inverting other some other kind. That means if we are applying DC voltage and the value are different, then that amplifier will produce a output which is called differential gain. But if we are applying same type of voltage, for example 1 volt to the non-inverting and 1 volt to the inverting, then at the output we will get a 0. Okay, uh, what we have discussed in our earlier case. But this type of configuration is called common mode. But the thing is, when we used to operate this operational amplifier, at that time the output of this operational amplifier will be equal to the sum of the differential mode voltage gain and common mode voltage gain. Okay, that means VO is equal to AD plus AC. So for any operational amplifier, it is always advantageous to have high value of AD and low value of AC. Okay, so as we know, the common mode will be less when compared to the differential mode. So if the value of AD is high when compared to the value of AC, then that type of operational amplifier will have more advantages. Okay, a term that relates to these two voltage gain is nothing but the CMRR, that is common mode rejection ratio. Better an op amp is, the higher the value of AD will be, and thus the value of CMRR will also be high. That means already we know the definition of CMRR, and that is, it is the ratio of AD by AC. And every time it is observed that the value of CMRR should be very high. So if we want the value of CMRR should be high, so what we have to do, we have to select such kind of signals with respect to that the value of AD should be high when compared to the value of AC. Then only the value of CMRR will be high. Once again I will repeat, the main advantage of op amp with respect to CMRR is the value of CMRR should be every time high. So if we want the value of CMRR to be high, then the value of AD should be high when compared to the value of AC, because the ratio will be AD by AC. So if the value of AD is very high compared to AC, then the value of CMRR will be more and it will be a advantage. So, for example, if CMRR is 1000, okay, if CMRR is 1000, and what we will do, we will measure as it is in terms of gain. We are talking about differential mode gain and common mode gain. So as it is in terms of gain, we have to measure this in terms of a unit decibel. We have to measure it in terms of the unit decibel. So if the value of CMRR is 1000, then if you want to calculate the CMRR in dB, then we have to apply the formula as 20 log of CMRR, and here we have considered the value of CMRR is 10,000. Okay, then the value will be 80 dB. Okay, so if we find out the log of 10,000 and multiply it with 20, then we will get the value of CMRR will be 80 dB. So what is the unit of CMRR? The unit of CMRR is in decibels. Why we are considering it in decibel? Because the ratio have two gains. One is the differential gain, another one is the common mode gain. So the unit will be in terms of dB only. And if you want to convert the obtained CMRR, then we have to use the formula 20 log of AD by AC. And here we have considered the value of AD by AC is 10,000. So by replacing the value of AD by AC by 10,000, we will get it as 80 dB. Okay, so this is with respect to CMRR. Okay, so anyone have any doubts? So now the second topic is constant current replacement for RE. And as you know, this RE is nothing but the resistor connected across the terminal of the transistor, that is emitter. Okay. So in the DC analysis of differential amplifier, so already we studied differential amplifier, and there we observed that emitter current IE depends upon beta. So already I told. So in the differential amplifier, we have connected our transistor in which mode? In CE mode. Okay. And we measure the gain in CE mode with the term beta. That means the gain of CE is indicated by beta. This we have discussed earlier, and in our previous class also we discussed about what is this alpha, what is beta, and what is gamma. That means here the emitter current IE depends upon the value of beta. So for that reason, we can write it as IE is equal to VEE minus VBE. So now going to your previous class where we have discussed what is VEE, what is VBE. So this VBE is voltage applied between base and emitter, whereas voltage applied between emitter and emitter divided by 2RE plus RIN. RIN will be your input resistor, and 2RE is nothing but here what we are doing in differential amplifier, we are considering two transistors. So here we have considered 2RE. That means resistor of transistor Q1 and resistor of transistor Q2. Okay. So are you getting the screen? Are you getting?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay. To make operating point stable, IE current should be constant irrespective of value of beta. So we know that what is the operating point? Operating point is that point after which your output, whether it may be in terms of current, whether it may be in terms of voltage, will remain constant. So as per the output characteristic, it is observed that it increases and it remain constant. So when it starts to remain constant, that point is called your operating point. Okay, so for constant IE, so for constant IE means emitter current. So for a constant emitter current, the value of RE should be very large. Okay, are you getting? For the constant value of emitter current, the value of resistor connected across emitter should be very large. So this also increases the value of CMRR. So why we have to do this means, to increase the value of CMRR, we have to select the value of RE very large, and because of very large value of RE, the value of IE will remain constant. And to maintain the value of IE same. So here what we have to do, as we are considering two transistors, and to maintain the value of both the transistors value with respect to emitter, that is emitter current of transistor Q1 and transistor Q2, if both should be same, then it has to connect it to a common supply, which is we are calling as VEE. Okay, so what we did in the figure, in differential amplifier figure, it is observed. Okay, here it is observed that we are connecting the emitter of Q1 and the emitter of Q2 through a common resistor, that is RE, and it is connected to VEE. Why we are doing so? Because to keep the value of IE of Q1 and to keep the value of IE of Q2 constant, we are connecting this to a common source and we are naming it as VEE, that is voltage applied across emitter of Q1 and across emitter of Q2. Okay. So this is the circuit which shows how we can get a constant current bias. So this is with respect to the differential amplifier circuit. So this portion is your differential amplifier circuit. So now what we did, our intention is to get a constant current across RE, across RE. So for that reason, what I did, I replaced this RE with an external circuitry. That means I have used another one transistor, that is Q3, and to the resistor emitter of this Q3, again I have connected a resistor, and to the input of Q3 I have connected two more resistors, that is R1 and R2, where R2 is grounded but R1 is again connected to RE, and this type of pattern we can say that. So this is nothing but your voltage divider biasing method. So this method, why we have to do? We have to do this to get the configuration of voltage divider method. And why we are doing this? Because our intention is to provide same amount of current. That means the value of IE of transistor Q1 and the value of IE of transistor Q2 should be same. And to it, if it should be same, then what the biasing source we are using, it should be a common source. And what the circuit configuration we are selecting, it should be a voltage divider biasing scheme. So that what happens, so if we are using a voltage divider biasing scheme, then here it is observed that same amount of voltage is given to transistor Q1 and to the transistor Q2, and because of this, what we can say, we can get a constant current replacement for RE. So as you know, RE is your resistance, and if we want the value of IE should be constant, then the value of RE should be very high. And if the value of RE is high, we can expect the value of CMRR is also high. And if we want to get a constant current, then at the instead of Re, we have to replace with an other circuitry which is called voltage divider circuitry, where we are using another one transistor, that is Q3, and it is connected to VEE, which is a common source for both the transistors, that is Q1 and Q2. And because of this voltage divider circuitry, it is observed that the same amount of voltage is given to transistor Q1 through emitter, and the same amount of voltage is given to transistor Q2 through emitter. And because of this, what we can get? A constant current instead of Re. So by doing this, we will get a constant current instead of Re. So now we have an analysis. Okay. The resistor Re is replaced by constant current transistor Q3, as I mentioned. The DC collector current of Q3 is established by R1, R2 and Re. This also already I told, and these resistors we are using because to form a network which is called voltage divider network. Now by using this voltage divider rule, what we will get? We will get VB3. VB3 means voltage across base of transistor Q3 and emitter of transistor Q3. That means this portion, if we are measuring the voltage between this portion, so this is called VB3. Then VB3 is equal to R2 divided by R2 plus R1 into minus VEE. So this is the voltage divider formula what you people have studied in your first semester. So that is voltage divider formula is equal to, in general we have wrote it as V1 is equal to R2 divided by R2 plus R1 into V. Okay. Do you remember? So voltage divider formula, generally voltage divider formula is written as V1 is equal to R2 divided by R2 plus R1 into V. It is in terms of general case. So here instead of V, we have minus VEE. So instead of V1, we have VB3. So with respect to the voltage divider rule, we obtained an equation 1. Now what we know? We know that VBE3 is equal to VB3 minus VE3. Okay. So this VBE3 is nothing but VB3 minus VE3. Here also we have voltage. Here also we have voltage. The difference between VB3 minus VE3 is nothing but VBE3. So it is clearly, we can observe this from the circuit. Okay. Now IC3, that means current across collector 3, that means transistor 3 collector. So this one IC3 means this one. Here we can see that here also we have a current which is called collector current, and we are indicating it as IC3 because it is relevant to transistor Q3. So which is equal to IE3, that means the value of current across collector is same as the value of current across emitter, which is given by VE3 minus VEE divided by RE. So this is your equation 3. Now substituting equation 2 in 3 we get. So if we substitute equation 2 in equation 3, we get IE3 is equal to VEE minus R2 VE